You're going to find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So you are in a very precarious situation. But the opposite finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races. Only up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Mugello Kessler coming around the old hairpin. And I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Oh, Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well. Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third. Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pite's pushed more and forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pite going to have a go? Werrell, don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's just such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Bill Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah. And it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunched up now?
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. Medeiros is going to haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to MotorLand Aragón, where the Premier Endurance Racing League is going to kickstart its action for round number 2 of the championship. This time for GT4s. A couple weeks from now, we'll be back for the GT3s. Scotty Rattlegun Rankin alongside of Jimmy Parfitt, and I tell you what, Jimmy, it's ebbs, it flows, it's up, it's down, it's got a little bit of everything in this place. There's a tight hairpin, there's a long back straight, there's flowing corners, there's climbing corners, this place is just beautiful. It's a brilliant racetrack.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's 5.29 kilometers in length. You know, the altitude is 340 meters. It's going to be very, very interesting for these guys to get around. They've got 18 turns to muster, and they're not 18 easy turns. Even coming out of turn 8 and 9 down through Marquez, which is a long looping left-hander before they go into turn 12, it's going to be tough itself. And that's the thing with it. You know, the circuit itself is always a tough circuit. There is a couple of variations of this circuit that you can have. You can have that straight run from turn 10 right the way down into turn 16, or you can have it coming in. There's a little corner just before 16 as well. There's multiple layouts that you can use, and I think they're going to have a tough time on this circuit to see how they get on.
Yeah, it's not the easiest place to get around, and like you said, there is a couple different layouts, and most importantly is that little kicked section down, like you said, in around 12, 13, 14, and 15 before we come onto that back straight. It is actually quite tight, and there's a tyre bundle in there that's movable as well, so if someone gets into that one. But it's sort of that first sector. You get down through turn 1, and it starts to rise up through 2, 3, into 4 and everything as well. It's constantly changing. There's something always going on this track, and you get one little break down that back straight. And for MotoGP lovers, there's a reason it's called MotorLand Aragón, and there's a reason corners are named after MotoGP riders, and it just creates great racing on bikes. And well, tonight we're going to witness that in GT4 action. And I tell you what, Adrian Gretsch, I'm pretty sure Adrian Gretsch is going to make sure that he gets enough fuel in that car tonight. For those of you who haven't been lucky enough to witness Adrian Gretsch's exploits so far this season, race 1, he gets points, but it's classed as a DNF in my book. In the GT4 Championship, comes back 2 weeks later, does exactly the same thing, runs out of fuel on the run to the line. It's been an interesting start from Adrian Gretsch. Him and his crew chief have had words, I believe.
They must have done. They must have, excuse me, they must have exchanged wedding vows quite a few times, and I can guarantee it wasn't "I love you." You know, there was a lot going on with Adrian Gretsch's car, and it was, yeah. You know, there was that lonely picture of him about 5 meters away from the line that you can also just put on there, all by myself, over the top of it, because he was so close, he could almost get out the car and push it if it was a real one, but it wasn't. So hopefully he gets to the end today. I'm sure he should do.
Hopefully, please, Adrian, let's make the end tonight, please.
Otherwise, we will just make it a bleating TikTok and put all by myself all over the top of it as he's just plottering to the line there as well, because that would be quite funny, actually, to be fair.
I'm actually messaging him right now. Just to tell him, please get enough fuel in tonight. Thinking of you.
Just put the fuel in. That's all we want. I don't even care if you over-fuel the car, just put enough to get there, you know what I mean, and finish the race. But look, at the end of the day, we laugh at a joke at poor old Adrian Gretsch's downfall, and at the end of the day, it's been quite a highlighted moment with him. with the fact that obviously, he has run out of fuel, and, it's, not the first time, is it really, there, unfortunately for him. But I think going forward, I'm sure these guys will have fun at this circuit. It's a very tough circuit. You've got that run down from turn 1 into that tight turn 2. We haven't got the normal, quite big field, but the circuit itself is still relatively new. So I don't know if people would have gone out and funded the circuit. Do you know what I mean? It's not a circuit sometimes that gets used quite a lot. So I think people might have taken the option to, take this as a drop round or a drop week, whatever the situation's going to be with them. Because, as I say, it's not been on the service massively long in conjunction with being on... It's not Spa. It's not on every series list. It's not on every series league race. It's a circuit that is very niche. I've seen Clios go around here in GT4s, but you wouldn't necessarily see it probably on the GT4 official calendar.
Yeah. I can't wait for it to be on more calendars. I'm actually... this is going to sound, we're sitting here looking at GT racing, and you're going to say to me, oh, that's a little bit off. But I'm actually I can't wait to see V8 supercars turning laps around here in terms of iRacing, because it's just one of those circuits I think the supercar really lends itself to. But in terms of things, GT4 racing first, and then we'll get there. But I believe it's time to get through our grid here, JP, because it's the man that won race number 1. It's the man that's put it back on pole position for the Fart Racing team, the fairly average racing team. That is when you unacronym have rounded out both of the 2 spots on the front row, off alongside of him with teammate Andrew Dutch. Dan Magri, boy, he took it to Owen Coleman from Mugello in that first round, and Mark Foster's going to line up alongside of him. Alfonso Latella and Nick Wood are going to be on row number 3. Behind them will be Sam Chapman and Adam Jepson. Rounding out the top 10 will be Hugo Sutherland and Martin Hallinan. For our row number 6 will be Simon Smith and Ricky Provenzali in 12th, Jimmy.
Yeah, on from that, we have got Ryan Campbell in 13th, Adrian Greich down in 14th, Ronald Long in 15th, Matt Bakir in 16th, and then our good mate Jimmy Middleton in 17th, Leif McClimer in 18th, Stefan Mellis down in 19th, with Jacob Hughes down there as well. I just want to bring your attention, as we all know, with Jimmy, who watches my conspiracy theory podcast. And
I'm glad you spotted it.
Yeah, this week we obviously talked about the moon landings and everything else, and there's Jimmy's little slogan for this week. JP, we landed on the moon. Well, that's still...
What was your conclusion? What was your conclusion at the end of it?
There's never a conclusion out of the end of it, because me and the guy I do it with, Craig, are not scientists. We haven't been up in a rocket. We haven't been anywhere near the outer. So we just sit there and go, look, at the end of the day, guys, I'm just chatting with a friend. We have no idea whether we went or not, because neither of us have been ourselves. So for now, guys, take care. See you later. Because that's how we end most of it, because we're not scientists. We're just 2 guys sitting around having a chinwag about conspiracy theories that he believes in. I don't believe him. He works out. I don't. You know what I mean? So, to be honest, Scott, it's more tongue-in-cheek than it is actually both of us trying to be serious and saying, you must believe me, because we both sit there and go, well, neither of us know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I like... It's actually funny. I think I had the same conversation with somebody else in my life like this week. It was just like, I don't hate conspiracy theories. I like people bringing something to me and widening my point of view. So I've been enjoying that sort of side of things as well. And there's as with everything, it's how does somebody perform the miracles, or how does somebody compete at the level that they're able to compete when the rest of us can't. I think look at Michael Phelps as a swimmer. Why was he so good? Well, when you uncovered it, there was actually a medical reason for it. His joints could just extend a little bit further than normal, and that's why he was so good. So in everything, I think there's an essence of the unknown. So anyway, we've talked on enough about that.
That's the thing, isn't it? You're never going to know, right? My mum always says there's no smoke without fire. So there's always been smoke that's caused conspiracy theories. The question is, are you ever going to get to the fire? Absolutely not, because it's always going to be covered up somewhere. And as for Michael Phelps, me personally, I reckon just the fact that he had no air on his body whatsoever, and he was like a torpedo going through the water. So that's what I put it down to for Michael Phelps, is because he was streamlined and no friction from the hair there as well. Where unfortunately, me and you, Scotty, will be at the back there swimming like a blinking house brick in the water. So you know what I mean.
Well, what I will tell you is if we went to the moon, I think we'd have enough cheese for the rest of our lives. So look. we mustn't have gone.
That's the thing.
Enough about that.
We love it. That's the thing. We love it. Me and Craig will sit. We can sit there all day discussing random rubbish. You know what I mean? The other day he sent me a program saying, "James, you must watch this." I was like, "Oh, okay." And I went and watched it. It was about crop circles, and I was like, "Oh no, I can see where
down
our
the
next
rabbit
one."
hole we go.
Yeah, we can see where the next one is here as well. These guys on a pace lap. They're on that run down from 15 into 16 at the moment, Scotty, as we've been waffling on about conspiracy theories for a brief little period of time. But let's go and chat. Have some fun with us, guys, as well. Don't forget as well, we do interact, we do chat back. So if you do have any thoughts on conspiracies or just some of the racing or Jimmy Middleton's blinking in slogans that he puts on the back of the car after he watches it every single time, let us know. Have a laugh with us, guys, because conspiracies are a wonderful area. So but there you go. The
Conspiracy
racing.
theory. Jimmy Middleton used to have talent until one day it just shot out of his exhaust pipe, and that was the end of that.
I agree. He went poof and it all went.
Righto, pace cars getting ready to peel off, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to go green flag racing for 1 hour of GT4 action from MotorLand Aragón, from a new circuit to the iRacing service, for the ultimate time for these guys to have fun on a Sunday night. It's GT4 action. It's Mercedes that lead the way. 1, 2, 3. Fozzie's the first one in the Porsche, and Owen Coleman puts the power down, and Daniel Magri's going to get himself a reasonable getaway as well, and now it's going to be Dutch who attempts to try and find his way back alongside, but the tow has been offered to Magri. Cold tyres, the run down to turn number 1, and we'll see if Mark Foster can get down the inside as well in that Porsche. God, he's looking good of late as Fozzie, and now they'll all manage to line their way back up, and there's some contact deeper in the field, Jimmy.
Yeah, Sam Chapman and Hugo Sutherland looked like they may have had a little bit of a ta-ta-ta. And there, Ricky Provenzali taking the inside line. There's a couple that have dropped all the way down the order. I'm a little bit worried at the moment, not for Leith McClimate because he's down in 19th. I am a little bit worried for Andrew Dutch because if his internet carries on doing what it has been doing, I'm pretty sure Race Control might get hold of him. So for Andrew Dutch, he's got to be a little bit careful. He's been blinking around quite a lot, so he needs to be a little bit swifty as these guys on the run up into turn 8. At one point, Magri was side by side with Dutch. Now Dutch just settles in behind it. Adrian Gretsch there as well, chasing down Provenzali, who actually qualified this week. Well done. And then we've got this gaggle of cars coming through after that, Scotty.
And I tell you what a gaggle as they were 3 wide on the run down through the last couple of corners there. Finally, they're going to manage to sort of settle in and settle it out. It's going to be Gretsch who's looking to follow along. Huge moment, though. I believe that was for Ricky Provenzali. He's now going to start dropping back. No, it was for Ronald Long, who's on the outside there. Yeah, and Jimmy Middleton scoots down on through the inside, and they're still trying to sort their way out. Still too wide as we enter the TCR layout of the track.
Yeah, they're going to go off now, aren't they? Through the right-hander of turn 14 and 15. You can see the leaders further down the line. They're going to come into the left-hander there. There's somebody gone round, unfortunately, at the same time there as well, as they've just gone into, I believe that might have been Martin Hallinan has just taken a spin, unfortunately. Now we've got this run down here as well. And there's Magri, there's Dutch, they're side by side. Coleman said, thank you very much. I'm on my bike, boys. You work it out for the next 58 minutes. He's run away like a scolded cat at the moment.
That'll be it. That'll be the last they see of him, I think, tonight, Jimmy.
Yep,
because he has skipped clear. He has absolutely skipped clear. Any single time that Owen Coleman has showed a clean pair of heels, it's over. Forget it, boys. You're chasing shadows for the rest of the race. How good is this, though, for Nick Wood, who's managed to go with the front 4? It's in behind him at the moment. It's the first of the McLarens at the moment for Twitchy Foot Racer, and he's starting to apply some pressure to the rear bumper of Fozzie. God, I love watching Fozzie. I love seeing Fozzie do well, because that is just a feel-good story, isn't it?
Yeah, Fozzie, I love the fact that he was in a McLaren last season. I think that was absolutely amazing. Now he's switched over to the Porsche. So, there we go. It's the... seems to be the thing is I've watched multiple GT4 series within iRacing, and the Porsche seems to be the main car. You know, it's a dominant force. But then I come over to you guys on the Australian series, and it's like Mercedes. I don't know if that's just because the English can't drive the Mercedes. I was having this conversation actually the other day about what is the future of racing, real-world racing, not sim racing, by the way. Oh, that's a huge incident! It's the teammates that get together. Yeah, they've gone round together. I think Ronald started going first, and then I got a funny feeling Matt Bakir just went with him. I don't think there was any contact here. Ronald lost it on his own, and then if you keep an eye on Matt, he goes with him there. There you go. They both do a little tandem pirouette team spin, so that was quite nice of them. But unfortunately, both of them has dropped him to the back end of the order there as well. Foz under attack from Wood. Is Wood going to be able to do it in the McLaren?
Eventually, well, he's going to have really good drive, and Foz was offline there as they come out of turn 15. Now the run down the back straight, and Foz is losing the draft of the two guys up ahead. Couple little errors, and I think the consistency of Nick Wood is going to put pay to the Porsche driver here. It'll just be a matter of time. An hour to get the job done, and for Nick Wood, he'll be trying to settle in. And remember, no car change for these guys. And where I was heading with that conversation earlier, Jimmy, is... again, Fozzie gets in deep, and you can't afford to do that in the Porsche. It really wants you to be accurate. As soon as you're in deep, the thing just will not rotate. All that weight in the rear end. And now he's going to come under a little bit of scrutiny. And Nick J. Wood is going to absolutely scrutinize the heck out of him. Fozzie, you're wide here. Fozzie, you're wide there. Fozzie, you're in my rear view mirror. I think what's queuing up to be played from Nick Wood.
Yeah, he has. He's got to be really, really careful at the moment. He's got to make sure he's hitting his markers, and at the moment he's just not doing it. He's taking the car in way too deeper than it needs to, and that is the problem. He needs to be in that Porsche. He needs to just brake that little bit earlier, let it get settled, and then get on the accelerator. He's kind of making up that, opening up that vortex area as well, and he needs to be careful of that. If Nick Wood takes a dive up the inside, good night Vienna, and it's going to end up badly for both of them. Ricky Provenzali under attack as well, as he's fighting out with Ryan Campbell there, and he's just gone past Campbell, I believe, as he starts making his way up through the field. Mr. Provenzali doing a great job. And what's happening back down here? Well, it's all kind of settled down a bit after Ronald Long and Matt Bakir's incident earlier on, where they did decide to spin together, so that was quite nice. But Daniel Magri now with Andrew Dutch dropping off a little bit.
I'll tell you what, Adrian Gretsch is right underneath the rear wing now of Adam Jepson as well, so that might play itself into a little bit of a battle to keep our eyes on. But these front two, and Dutchy is just lurking.
His internet is not also lurking. He needs to go out and feed the Roo in the garden and get him to run faster, because at the moment he is blinking quite a bit here at the moment. But Sam Chapman giving Jimmy Middleton a whole hope of grief here.
Well, this will be another one to keep an eye on. Don't forget, Sam Chapman won a race last season as well from Monza. Was the only guy to make the one-stopper work, and that victory landed in his lap. Boy, did he celebrate and enjoy that one. And he's going to look at conspiracy theories. Well, Sam Chapman, if anything motivates you to get a pass done, it's looking at takes on conspiracy theories. And Sam Chapman is closing. I wonder whether he'll just show the nose here and just ruffle Jimmy's feather. No, he backs out of that one. Lets him roll him. He's fuel saving.
Yeah, I don't think there's any need for him to go at him at the moment. We're still early on. We've only been going 7 minutes. So if you're going to make the most of it, you're going to make the most of it now. And Foz is not making the most of what he had. Yeah, Nick Wood's through and gone. It's good night, Vienna. Foz, I'm on my bike. So poor old Fozzie there loses the place. And Nick Wood takes the place away. But Provenzali find out with Smith once more.
This one's not going to go away anytime soon. So this will be another battle we'll keep half an eye on. Yeah. And all of a sudden, Smith offline and deep in under brakes. And now it becomes AMG Grunt versus BMW smooth application of the power. I'll tell you what, I'm not a fan of the current generation of M4. I was a big fan of the Z4. Bring back that smooth, stylish shaping. I remember one of my first ever, actually it was my first ever racing game that I played religiously was Need for Speed High Stakes. And the BMW Z4 was among my favourite cars.
That was a long old time ago. I was playing Underground by then, and that was just an awesome epic. I did love the Need for Speed series, but then they all went a little bit sideways with it, and unfortunately it went all a little bit wrong. But these guys still scrapping out once more, of course, still having a good fight, as you say, AMG Mercedes. Now, what he's got to be careful of is Mr. Smith as well, is the AMG's application. Jimmy, Ricky there giving him a little bit of a bump draft along into turn 13. That's the thing. You've got to be careful in that Merc, because I can tell you now, that Merc does not like you slamming on that accelerator. And if you slam on the accelerator, that back end is going to want to come and join that front end quite drastically. So he's really got to be careful with it. He's got to make sure that if he's going to apply the accelerator, the car is settled once he's going through the corner, because if he isn't settled, it'll go. Jepson.
That was Jepson. It was Jepson. You're 100% right. I'll tell you what, Adrian Gretsch is keeping an eye on it, and I'll tell you what, race controls had a few different bits and pieces to say. It was 2 10-second penalties that have been handed out at the moment, and it's 5.25, which is for Adam Jepson for contact with car 101 on lap 1.
Yeah. Did he actually touch
that was
the teller, did he?
Yeah, he did. He touched the teller.
Oh, okay. That is Martin Hallinan going rather slowly there. Let's have a look back. Oh, no, they've already gone at that point. I wonder if we can get back. There we go. Oh, how is this going to work? Jepson's on the inside. Latella's in the BMW on the outside, going around 16. Oh,
he tracks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when we look at things like that, it's really quite hard to decipher which way it should go, because at the end of the day, we look at it like that one camera angle. You know, and obviously I've got loads of different versions of it, but I think at the end of the day, it's always difficult when you start washing out to the outside and there's a car there that's alongside and practically in front of you. It's always going to be difficult, and it was difficult there for Jepson, unfortunately. Provenzali now giving Smith a whole heap of grief here. What is Smith going to be able to do alongside the BMW? Provenzali's going up the inside now, Scotty. Is he going to get him into 12? Job done.
Oh, not quite. Not quite. Now it's done. Yeah. And now it's going to be under assault for Ryan Campbell. Senses an opportunity, senses a bit of weakness. If I was feeling cheeky, it's down the inside here and force him offline. But when they get down to the straight down the other side, he's got to do something in the Porsche, because he's going to lose out a little bit in the straight line. Here's Ryan Campbell, and Gretsch is brought into the back end of this. Jepson, remember last time by, went very, very deep at the hairpin, so now he's reverted to the tail end of this pack, and it's a 5-way battle pack. Let's see if the horses under the Rick Provenzali's right boot are able to put something to the floor and get away from the front end of this pack, because Campbell looks strong. Campbell looks very strong on the brakes. He's really closing in on Simon Smith, and I think in terms of race trim, his Porsche's looking quite well.
Yeah, it definitely is. He's doing a great job there as well, but it is a BMW, Merc, Porsche, Merc, Aston Martin. We know Jepson's got a penalty, I believe, incoming. If that is what you said, isn't it, Scotty, if I'm not mistaken?
Was the one that, yeah, it was. Jepson does definitely have a penalty coming. And the other driver with a penalty to come his way is actually Jacob Hughes, starting from the rear of the field. So that, on lap 2, remember that incident when we saw Bakir go around along with his teammate? Well, it was because Hughes got into the back of him. Sorry, not Latella, it was Ronald Long went around on his own, but Bakir was helped.
That was a tight one on that one, I would have thought there as well.
Yeah, we didn't get a good look at that one from the angles that we had. So.
No, exactly. Sam Chapman with Jimmy battling away further down. The front end's fairly settled. Owen Coleman out in front by 2.9, and then you got Andrew Dutch and Magri. We know Dutch has had a little bit of a blinking problem, and then we got Campbell and Smith. They're going at each other here as well in a Porsche Merc situation. It doesn't look like Smith now, Provenzali's gone past him. It doesn't look like he's quite got the pace to be able to keep up with Provenzali. Provenzali looks a little bit better than Smith does under braking and in that BMW. You know, we know the BMW is it can just eat curbs for a living, so I don't think it matters whether it's a GT3 or GT4. I think it does exactly the same thing, to be fair.
Makes a horrid sound, and the GT4 is about the only statement I'd make. Absolutely horrid. It's you know the sound the F3 makes when it bottoms out? It's nearly identical on the BMW. It's horrid. Absolutely horrid. Sounds like things breaking every time you hit them wrong.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You've just got to be careful, haven't you? Use the limits of the track, but don't overuse the limits of the track, otherwise you'll be in trouble. You know, and at the end of the day, these guys have got to find where their limits are, and MotorLand Aragón has got some nice little sausage curbs mixed in with that as well, you know.
Oh, Sam Chapman's about to have a go. Sam Chapman's about to have a go at Jimmy Middleton, and Jimmy just said, yeah, I'm going to back out of this one. So it's going to be all resolved. And then down the inside goes Ryan Campbell, as well as he looks down the inside and gets the job done on Simon Smith, because I get the feeling Campbell wants to get down and get after Ricky Provenzali. So he'll get that job done, and that's the job done there for Sam Chapman as well. And now it'll be Gretsch who's the next cab off the rank to try and assault the rear bumper of the driver behind the 48 Mercedes. And Smith qualified well, but starting to fall a little bit by the wayside. No, it was actually all the gains he made on lap 1. He made a ton of spots on lap 1.
I think the problem for Smith is knowing where you are, knowing where, and I don't mean that as obviously, you know, he's on.
Oh, Campbell! Campbell was right out of shape, and now it's going to be Smith gets down the inside. Gretsch senses an opportunity, gets down the inside. It's going to be round the outside for the Porsche. It'll become the inside when they get down here to turn number 6. It's a long right-handed kink, though, and it will still be the inside at turn 7, which is a sharp right-hander at the back end here. Over-under opportunity that he's sensing, though, and Gretsch tries to get the horses for courses. Planted into the floor. Opportunity disappears, but that was a huge moment for Ryan Campbell. And all of a sudden, he's popped out the other side, and he's going to have to get past Simon Smith again.
Yeah, he is. They've swapped places between the group here 5 times already, and we've only been through the first 2 sectors, and they've done a great job, and that was... Campbell.
They both had a wiggle.
Yeah. Campbell there doing what we said don't do, apply the throttle too fast in that Merc. Smith's going to go up the inside. He's forced Campbell offline. Smith's going to come round now from turn 12. He's going to have the inside. Gretsch is going to come through and say thank you very much. I will have some of that. And now what about the Aston Martin of Jepson? Is he going to be able to make it through on poor old Ryan Campbell, who has lost 3 places rather than trying to gain 2?
Well, the other thing is, look in the background as well, because Hugo Sutherland is crawling onto the back end of these guys as well. So all of this battling is sort of buying a couple guys back in. Jepson was sort of hanging off the rear end and starting to sort of drift a little bit. Well, now he's come back to them, and now back down to the inside. Gretsch is going to have a go at Simon Smith, and now he gets down the inside. Campbell's trying to follow him through, and the hairpin at MotorLand Aragón creates action. Campbell gets a 2-for-1 deal in the final sector. I tell you what, drive he's got out the other side. Gets the 2-for-1 special at turn 16.
Yeah, Ryan Campbell doing a stellar job. He grabbed that opportunity by the horns, should we say, and literally made a 2-for-1. Campbell! Smith, losing the place to Jepson, I think, as well. Goes in deep into 1. That unfortunately puts him under pressure from Jepson. Jepson's trying to run the outside here. He's going to have the inside if he can stay where they are. There's no need for it. He's going to get it there as well. Jepson takes the position away from Smith, and Smith now is dropping into the hands of Hugo Sutherland, so he's going to have to be careful here, because otherwise Hugo Sutherland's going to have him as well.
I tell you what, Simon Smith there's a little crinkle in the left rear corner, and now he's going to show the nose as they get down here. Forces Jepson to go the long way around and make sure he gets that car pulled up. He left the hole open. There was a hole going to be filled, and he had to leave it open the whole way through. Got out the other side, using his head at the moment. Hugo Sutherland is just sitting back with a box of popcorn going, come on, boys. I'm enjoying this. I'll have more of that.
Yeah, he is. He's sitting there now waiting to see what happens. Is Jepson going to make the mistake? Is he going to get through? Is Smith going to get through? Is Gretsch going to take Campbell? Campbell's looking mighty strong in that Porsche by now. I'm not going to lie. Going into 16 to be able to cut that thing back and take 2 places on the exit was absolutely incredible. Provenzali is gone. He has scolded Cap run away there for Ricky as he puts that BMW over the sausage curb, coming out of 14 there as well. So Hugo Sutherland has now got Smith in his sights. It's going to be a straight drag race down the long straight from 15 to 16.
I'm going to say something here, Jimmy. And you know how I said there's a crinkle in the left rear corner? Can you see that? It just looks slightly off. I reckon that tyre might have a little bit of camber or cast. Something's wrong with it. Toe, something. It's the suspension on it's not sitting 100% right, and that's where Simon's having a lot of difficulties at the moment. It's that left rear corner. So I don't know whether or not he's cooked the tyre, something's going on there, or it is mechanical, but it just doesn't look 100%.
Yeah, he doesn't. You can see it's bulging slightly more, but we don't know. Obviously, that may have been due to contact as well, so we've got to be careful. Daniel Magri, unfortunately, has had a moment, and I think he managed to get away with it, but what did he get up to, and was that at the hands of Mr. Dutch? That's going to be the question as they're coming down into 16, or was Magri just very, very slow, and that has caused the problem here? No, he's gone in deep. He went in deep. That's allowed Magri to close back up, and Dutch to close back up, and Magri survived another day. But I tell you what, if Smith survives any longer, which he isn't going to do, Hugo Sutherland has said thank you very much. I'll have some of that as he goes into the entrance of turn 5.
Yeah, interesting place to get the job done too. That's not easy. And immediately, every single time he's had someone overtake him, he's been straight on the offensive yet again. I think he's got to settle in. I think he's just got to take the racing line when they get down there to turn number 7, because every time he's got offline, he's sort of upset himself a little bit. So take a breath, a moment for Simon Smith. See if he can get this thing back connected as he starts to drift back through the field. And there'll be a few more guys, I think, in behind him. Sam Chapman's starting to close on a real rate of knots. Lost 2 seconds to Sam Chapman, basically, on the last time by. So with all the battling that's going on for Simon Smith, he is falling like a rock through this field. Campbell's doing quite well. He actually took a second out of Ricky Provenzali on that last lap. So Provenzali had a moment and has fallen back a little bit into the clutches of Ryan Campbell. Although Campbell's quicker than Wood as well, so looking after its tyres and fuel balance quite nicely from this Porsche. It might be a low fuel Porsche, I'll tell you what, because his qualifying performance was quite good.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, he's making moves, isn't he? He's making the most of the opportunity. He's showing pace that he has got, and he's making the opportunity work for him. And I think that's the thing. You've got to be in that right position to make sure it works. And he's making an opportunity because he cut back 2 coming out of that hairpin and did a great job. It looks like Smith may have just almost tried to get Hugo Sutherland, didn't quite make it through this time. So Smith and Sutherland still going at it. The front at the moment, the front 9 are quite spread out. Dutch is close to Magri, but again, he's losing time as now Smith comes back at Sutherland down into turn 1. He's going to be sticking his nose on the inside. He is done there as well. Sutherland's going to give him room, is he? Oh, well, they had a bit of a squeeze at each other, and Smith does make it through. The thing I'm worried about is almost like Smith has to get overtaken to get a second wind. The problem is, once he's got the second wind, he tries to overtake, and then if he gets overtaken again, it's kind of almost like his confidence level, or he disheartens and he just drops, and then all of a sudden he goes back, and then he's into the fight with the next one. So it's a bit of a weird one with Smith at the moment.
Yeah. Whether or not, he just needs to find that rhythm, and he's finally found it, got the spot back. But he's just assault, defend constantly. And I'm wondering about those tyres as well, because this is a lot of long flowing corners on this track as well. So the potential to put a lot of heat and damage through those tyres. So Rick Provenzali's a mile off the track at the moment. Went the very long way around. The corners he was just in. He just had over a second margin, well over a second margin. Now he's back within the hands, and this battle's continuing because Sutherland's got to run on him again. Down to the inside of Simon Smith. Will they go side by side to the apex down here? Yes, they will. And they're going to pop out the other side and continue to go door to door. It's not done quite yet because Smith is still on the inside. Now Chapman's going to close in and have a real go at him. We'll see if he can get down there. They're still side by side as they enter turn 14. Now it's the left-hand kink at 15. Surely Smith might get better drive out of the corner here. Doesn't get the drive that he was chasing. And the big problem he's got now is Sam Chapman closes right up in that Porsche. The Merc's got a few extra legs in terms of straight line speed, but with a double toe, here comes Sam Chapman, and he's going to be supreme on the brakes when he gets down here, Jimmy.
That's the thing. It looked really weird.
Saving.
Yeah, it looked really weird from Smith's point of view coming through 14. He had some really bizarre entry, and he then got a really weird exit. That allowed Sutherland to take the inside for 15, and then that put Smith into the hands of Chapman. Chapman, of course, we think is saving fuel, so he didn't really push the situation, but it did look very bizarre. That 14-15 exit entry for Smith looked a bit out of sorts, and I saw it in YouTube chat, but yeah, that rear left looks weird. It does. Chapman getting handy candy. He is at the moment. So, Smith is his own worst enemy as well. And I think that's the thing. It's just, he needs to get overtaken to get faster, which then puts him into the hands of somebody else, which then makes him slower because he's got to try and defend. And then once he gets overtaken again, he comes back at him. It's a weird thing that I'm seeing. Maybe I'm off the mark with that, but I'm not sure.
Well, the interesting thing will be is, if Sam Chapman is saving, and we do think he is, because he's bailed out on the throttle quite a lot at the back end of this pack, he's now got a double toe. So he's now got 2 guys punching the hole in the air. He'll love this. This will work straight into his hands. And if there is a second splash required, which we are at the 22-minute point in terms of this race thus far, well, this is perfect. This is playing right into his hands.
Absolutely. Well, we were talking about Rain Campbell earlier on. Well, Rain has gone and caught up with Ricky. Ricky, obviously, we know made a mistake. He was off the side of the circuit and a long way off by the signs of what Scotty told us. So at the moment, Chapman's now got an opportunity with Provenzali. Gretsch is sitting in the background as well. Obviously, we know about Gretsch's fuel incident, so let's hope he's got enough in there. Come on, Adrian, please, please put enough in, bud. Please do that, because I can't handle that.
It's one of those... It's one of those situations where you're sitting there and you're like, please, please, for the love of God, make it work this week, please. I can't handle watching that again.
I know. It's so close, but yet so far, Mr. Adrian Gretsch.
Even Rain then, I tell you what, Jimmy, even Rain was out of the gas then. Did you see how Ricky shot away from him at the back end of the straight?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple are trying it. I think Rain might have decided, right, I've got to where I need to get to, so now let's save fuel and see if I can jump a couple of people in the pits. That could be the hope. It could well be, and I'm not saying it is, but I'm not saying it's also not here. We'll jump on board with him now as they're going up around turn 2 into 3. He'll lift a little bit coming through 4 if he wants to. That's just at the top of the hill here. We're going to go left very, very shortly. You can kind of lift, which is what he... a little bit. There was no revs there, and getting on the brake again, and then on the run down through into turn 6 and 7. But if he is saving fuel, great. You know, I witnessed somebody the other day make a one-stopper in an hour race with 40% fuel, and he literally fuel saved his head off as well. So yeah, he did a great job there. So getting through at 40%. What are these guys going to be able to do?
Well, the thing is, Jimmy, if the guys around you are battling their heads off, it works. But if they're not, like the race pace, it comes down to the race pace and how much time you lose whilst you're doing it. So,
yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? You've got to be mindful about what you're doing. You know, fuel saving's great if you can do it right. If you just decide one day to wake up and go, oh, I'm going to be a fuel saver today, well, you better get practicing on how to make it work, because I can tell you what, it's not easily done. And
not easy.
No, I can only save fuel in a NASCAR, but I think that's quite simple for me because I turn left and there's yellows that allow me to clutch and stuff like that. I couldn't do it in these because I'm just getting it completely, ended up getting it wrong, to be honest.
Well, have you ever tried green flag fuel saving in a NASCAR on a track where you've got to use the brakes?
I've done it once, and that was at, where was I the other day? Twin Ring Matigi. I tried to do a little bit of tried doing a little bit of fuel saving there as well, and I was bad, like rotten.
We're at Legacy Atlanta today, and I had to save 2 laps of fuel, and boy, we got a caution with 8 to go, and I was sitting there going, man, I had that in the bag. I was the only one that was going to make it, so that was interesting. I love races that really pull you around like that, and like we said, Sam Chapman has already done it, and he's done it well at Monza last season. I'm really, really curious how deep these guys go, because as a few of these guys are crossing the start-finish line right now, 26 minutes on the clock. We are 4 minutes shy of getting to the halfway mark. If it isn't a fuel saver race, if they definitely can make it on the one-stop strategy, well, then it becomes, do you save 2-3 seconds worth of gas in the pit lane? Because that is a huge advantage as well.
They've got to get past the half an hour mark. They've got to. If they come in anywhere near that half-hour mark, it's going to be really close. We see Campbell giving Smith a whole heap of grief there. Chapman, giving Smith a whole heap of grief. And then we've got Rain Campbell trying to close up to Provenzali. They've dropped Gretsch by about a second at the moment, but Gretsch is under pressure from Jepson, so that could explain where the time difference has come from, as he's got to try and defend and attack at the same time, and that is never easy. Further down, we've got Jimmy Middleton, Lee McClimer, Jacob Hughes, and then on the back is Alfonso Latella, with Martin Hallinan closing in as well. So some great action all the way through the field. This is the closest battle. This has got 5 cars mixing it in currently at the moment. McClimer trying to come through on that Porsche. He's going to take the inside line over Mr. Middleton. Give him room all day, otherwise you're going to end up going around. And is McClimer going to make it through? No, Jimmy says not this time.
And it's good to see Hughesy in the background of this one as well, as he's really trying to get that Merc to pull up. Point I was trying to make earlier on the stream, by the way, we'll have to come back to that point, and as Alfonso Latella nearly ends up punching a hole in the rear end of the Jacob Hughes Mercedes, and now it's going to be BMW versus Mercedes as they try and wind these things up. Martin Allen sitting in the background with front row seats because it's side by side on the run down to the hairpin. Well, through goes Alfonso Latella on one. Now he's going to try and pull the car up. I think he's deep. I think he's very, very deep, and he's into Jimmy Middleton.
Enjoy that penalty, dear sir. Enjoy that penalty. Coleman, Provenzali, Campbell, Jepson, Gretsch, Smith, all into the pits. And Sam Chapman, as we know, we think has been lifting, is not. He is sitting in 5th at the moment. Jacob Hughes also through. Lee McClimate, Martin Hallinan into the pits. Jimmy Middleton into the pits. 31 minutes. Wow. Is going to be either come out and fuel save, or I can tell you what, you ain't going to make it from there. And Owen Coleman is in and out on 27.5 seconds on his pit stop time, 55.4 on his pit lane time. So we'll keep an eye on what others come out with as well. But unfortunately, it looks like, as you say, they may be a little bit short.
Now, the other thing that goes through my mind on this one, Jimmy, is formation lap. How much fuel did they eat up on the formation lap?
I would have been clutching as much as I can, or lifting and coasting as much as I possibly can.
For sure.
Every little bit. Yeah, there's probably some that didn't. There's probably some that you can't, they don't know how, or it's just not in their nature, or it's not in their itinerary, you know, their weapon box to be able to fuel save. And some people don't drive like that, and it takes skill, and it takes time, and it takes effort to get used to it, being able to clutch, and then, or being able to lift and coast, or whatever the situation may be. And some people just can't do it, Scotty. That's the thing. Some people can't. So some people will drive at full pace and see what happens. And Ronald Long at the moment is got Matt Bakir in front of him, who I'm sure is probably going to hope that they get on a little bit on there as well. Yeah, Magri's in, Dutch is in. I think Ward's going to probably, he's going to got to be, no, is Ward already? No, he hasn't. Nick Wood there as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Wood pulls in. He does. What about Foz? Because he's not pitted either. He's in. What's Chapman going to do? Because we know Chapman, we think, has been lifting.
Well, we can say confidently that Sam Chapman has definitely been lifting. He's in. Okay, so by this mark, that means anyone that pits on this lap theoretically should get home. He gets in at 30 minutes on the dot. So just after 30 minutes, about 10 seconds after it. So, it's tight. It's really, really tight.
But what they don't want to do is come out and end up close to Coleman and think, I'm going to go battle, because that's not going to help their strategies. You see, he's jumped all of them in the pits now as well. Magri's on his way out. Dutch is on his way out. Foz is going to be on his way out shortly with Nick Wood, Sam Chapman, and Jacob Hughes. Provenzali is the next one coming through. How far is Provenzali going to jump at the moment? If he's going by pit stops, he should get Jacob Hughes, he should get Sam Chapman, and he should possibly get Nick Wood as well. Wood's going to be on the exit as Provenzali's coming through. So watch the underneath. There's the BMW of Provenzali. There's the BMW of Campbell. And unfortunately for Wood, he looks like he's come out and he's not made any real massive gains. In fact, he's lost positions coming out behind the flying Rain Campbell at the moment.
Well, I'm just keeping half an eye on how long was Sam. So Sam Chapman's pit stop was 2 seconds quicker than Owen Coleman's. It was 3 seconds quicker than Magri and Dutch's. So what that says to me is, looking at those numbers, Coleman just wanted to go to the undercut because he was in a little bit earlier. Was just, I think he can get home. I think they can all get home. I don't think it was a huge margin. But the fact that Sam Chapman's put less fuel in that car says they're all good. He just wanted to have to put less fuel in that car. And I think it's worked, because look at where he's popped out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Chapman has come out in a good place, but the pit stop times between Provenzali and Chapman around about the 26-27 mark. Pit lane times 55 to 54, so that's going to be close. But I think at the end of the day, it should be that they will have enough, but it's whether or not they're going to have enough to basically fuel saver as well. You can see the pit lane times there. Wood is on a 103, so no wonder he was in there longer. Jepson on a 104, Smith on a 105. So he's lost 8 seconds almost, Nick Wood, which would basically be about where Foz is at the moment up the road. So Nick Wood should have been in front of Foz, but that extra 8 seconds in the pits there, whether or not he took tyres, maybe, that's the only thing I could think that would extend that time.
So the amount of fuel that they can get in these tanks of these cars with the percentages that's on them, covers 2 tyres. It doesn't cover 4. So when you're talking about sort of that 5 seconds longer mark, that's 4 tyres is basically what Nick Waters said. So that means he's going to be lightning quick and probably say the last 10 minutes of this race compared to everyone else around him. But it means that, you know, right now he's going to struggle just a little bit because he's also going to come back through. And this battle continues to go on between Martin Hallen and that'll be Jacob Hughes that he's fighting away with.
Yeah, they're battling down. They're coming into 16 now, aren't they? They're doing a great job there for Hanlon as he's trying to chase down on Hughes. You can see Dutch has closed in with Magri up front there as well. So Magri under a little bit of pressure once more. So he's got to be a little bit careful. But I think overall that it's going to be really what has people done in that first stint. Have they saved enough? Ooh, that was very inside the curb there, so I don't actually believe you may have been actually 4 wheels over the white line.
Okay.
But do you see what I mean? It depends what they've done in the first fuel stint to see where they're going to be up on the next one. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing.
We were sitting here looking at fuel, and then just with how far they took it into this race, I actually don't think it's going to matter. If we get, the problem is right now we're right on the threshold of getting 1 extra lap, so we're going to go sort of, I reckon we're going to go about 61.5 minutes in terms of race distance, just because we're going to fall that short of getting of finishing the time in under that 1 extra lap. If we do, there's probably a few guys that are in a little bit of a fuel hole.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if it's actually decided by 1 lap of fuel?
I just hope it's not Adrian Gretsch that runs out of it. I've got to be honest.
Oh no!
Can you imagine that? If that extra lap of fuel and then it's Adrian Gretsch sat there again, you'll just be sitting there going, "No, Adrian, this can't happen." Like, dude,
Not again.
not again.
Not like this.
Not like this. It's heartbroken. There as well. Provinciali having to go at Foz at the moment. So the BMW, Ricky's been looking quite strong in that. So yeah, Nick Wood has cleared Ren Campbell, but again, Campbell seems to be quick, doesn't he? So, you know, is Wood quicker in the McLaren? That's the thing.
Well, they had a mistake, so I wonder whether or not there was a slowdown, Jimmy. In and around, it looks like it was in 12, 13, 14, 15, where he lost about a second from Ren Campbell. So that's the only reason he's cleared him. So there was some sort of mistake in there. But yeah, either way, he's gotten on through, and this one's interesting. Again, what we're seeing from Foz is as soon as you apply a little bit of pressure to the driver, the number 50, he falls to pieces. So that's where his pace has come up. He's improved massively in terms of pace, but now it's his racecraft, his race brain, and his ability to deal with pressure whilst behind the wheel. That's the next step where you've got to learn, and that's one of those things where it takes, the only way to do it is to put yourself in those situations. You cannot mimic those situations at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's racecraft, and that is a very difficult scenario to contend with. You've got to be able to, on your own, you've got to be able to be quick, which is great. But when you're in a pack, you also need to be quick. And if you can do one thing without the other, then you're going to be in trouble at certain points, aren't you? So it's going to be tough for, I think, at the end of the day for Foz, but he's got to know where the limit is of that Porsche. He's got to know where the braking point is, because if he tries to take it in deep and stop it like an F1 car, it's never going to happen. So he's got to be braking early, get it stopped, get it in and get it out, and that's going to be the tough thing.
And then thinking about it in terms of things as well is what are you doing to the tyres when you do that?
Exactly. It is a different scenario. Provinciali is going up alongside Foz now as well, and unfortunately Foz looks like he's just going to go and lose another position, which is a bit of a shame.
Ricky went so deep then. He's gifted a position and he nearly gifted it straight back.
Yeah. He got the position and then decided it was going to be enough and enough. So, yeah. I'm interested to see where this goes, and I'm interested to see where people finish on fuel. So we'll see what happens. I'm
really interested in terms of this battle and this group of things as well. by the way, my thoughts on that incident down at turn 16 on that last lap. Somebody tell these guys Christmas in July isn't for another couple of months yet, because they were looking like they were trying to swap presents. Yeah, which was an interesting one. In terms of things, as we're keeping half an eye on this battle, because it's worthwhile keeping half an eye on at this point in time, I'm wondering whether or not Nick gets the same courtesy that Ricky just got shown by Fozzie, or whether or not Fozzie might be fuel saving just a touch. Because his pit stop was quick. So was Ricky's pit stop, actually.
Yeah, we don't know what each one is doing, do we? So they've got to be aware of the situation, and they've got to be aware for Foz what his strategy is. If his strategy is to fuel save and try and not get a second stop in, don't fight with Nick Wood, don't fight with Provenzali, and just make sure you stay within that 55-second window as such. Don't fight with Campbell. If Rain's on a different strategy to you, don't fight again with him. Let them go, because you know if you stay within about 30 to 30 seconds, you're going to get past them in the pit stops if you have got this capability of getting to the end. So you really need to pick your battles and make sure that you work out where you are in conjunction of what's going on around you, I think.
How good has this drive from Sam Chapman been, though, back through the field as well? I've really, really enjoyed watching him, because he's the next car that's in behind these guys. And just at the top of the shot is Sam Chapman at this point in time. Just see the front end of his Porsche. Been thoroughly enjoying it. Gretsch.
Oh, Provenzali.
I don't know whether or not...
Again, sorry, Provenzali went in again deep into 16. But it's really weird, because the last two times we've seen him do that, he has gone and smashed out the run out of 17 and 18 and survived until the first corner, which he has done again. So it's really bizarre how Provenzali goes in deep into 16, opens the door, then 17 and 18, he's like a rocket with nods. It's just like, see you later. You know, he gets a great run out.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Something happened to Andrew Dutch on that most recent lap, because he dropped 7 seconds to Magri and Coleman. So something big happened there. Whether or not it was just a big old wiggle.
I'm hunting, Scotty, but nothing is showing up that Dutch has had any form of issue, and he didn't get overtaken. So, unfortunately, I've got nothing for the last 3 laps from Andrew Dutch, I'm afraid there, buddy.
And now Ricky Provenzali's going to go side by side. New tyres for Nick Wood means that he gets back on the front foot, and he does so extremely well. Nearly looked like a cover drive for 4 off the front foot. Just the way that he had so much more grip. And now Provenzali runs it real wide. They all run it real wide, getting onto the power as they come through that section. Fozzie gets a slowdown out of it and was the only one of the 4 to get a slowdown out of that, by the way.
I think he was,
so he was just a touch wider than everyone else.
Yeah, he was a little bit too far. Everybody knew the limits, but I think poor old Foz just went probably only a couple of centimetres, probably inches, millimetres, but he went, and unfortunately, it did cost him on that one. But Woods got past Provenzali, and I think Ricky's now going to struggle if Ricky didn't take tyres, because we know Wood did, and we can get that by his pit lane time. Whether or not he took the two rights or 2 lefts, me personally, probably on a lot of saying that, this goes left and right like an absolute yo-yo, so I'm not really sure which tyres to take, to be fair. But whatever Wood's done, yeah, exactly. And the problem is, it's not a left-handed dominated turn, it's not a right-handed dominated circuit. You've got a right here, then you're going to go a left, then you've got a left, then you've got a right, then you've got a left and a right and a left and a right, and it goes all the way around, to be fair. So whatever Nick Wood did, he did well and chose well, because it seems to be working out for him. But I'm interested to see what this man is doing. Where is he going to be if people in front have, and we think they have, all the people that pitted before the half an hour mark have possibly got a pit again. So it's going to be interesting. Housey in YouTube chat, lift and coast with a minimal time loss is a true art form. Fully agree with you. I'm lucky if I lose less than half a second a lap per... No, less than half a second per minute of lap time. Yeah, it's a difficult art form, dude. It really is, and that's the thing. You've got to be very mindful of what's going on and how you do it. And if you can't do it, don't do it. And if you want to do it, you better practice doing it before you put it into a race format.
Yeah, well, as we keep half an eye on this battle as it continues to unfold, and Sam Chapman buys into the back of this group now, so that's all played into his hands. The future of racing in Australia, and this is something I really sort of debated. There was a comment that came out of the Bathurst 12-hour weekend from BMW, and it was, we love racing in Australia. We've always got our eyes on it. We've always got our eyes on supercars. Currently, it doesn't align with our business and where our business is going, but should that change, BMW would probably enter a, air quotes, supercar. And the problem for BMW is they're looking electric, right? And they're looking hybrid-style systems. The problem for me, and you starting to commentate some supercars yourself, JP, as well, so you sort of start to get it. We're all about this big, growly, monstrous noise of an engine, which is why the AMGs are so loved in Australia, more so than anywhere else, because they fit our car culture, right? They fit what we identify with. You think about the American cars that have done well out here. It's the muscle cars, something with big, throaty sounding V8 styled engines. They seem to do well more with the Australian market because we identify with them more because our top series of racing are supercars, right? So the problem with that is that I just don't ever see a world where supercars goes electric. Supercars loses its brand identity the instant it slaps its electric. I reckon it'd lose half its fans.
You've got to know what's your genre. You've got to know where your client market is. You've got to know everything. Like the same over in the UK with the BTCC, the British Touring Cars, was always action, gruffing engines, you know, the Volvo Estate, the Alpha 155, the Laguna, the Megane, all of these things have come in. And then I think it's last year or the year before they introduced a hybrid system on being able to use like almost a push to pass series with electric. Currently almost like the first makeup of the F1s was curve system almost, should we say, can we call it? And you're sitting back thinking, where are you going with that series? Like, you go all electric like Formula E, that takes away what we're used to hearing. I don't want to go to a racetrack and hear nothing apart from and you're like, I mean, what is that? That's not even an engine. It's like a whirring fan in my ear. You know what I mean? I want power. I want gruff. I want rah. I don't want to.
But when you say grunt and that, and I sort of picture V8 supercars and I compare and contrast, to me, BTCC doesn't have loud roaring engines. It's got something more of like a 6-cylinder is something I'm more used to. When I picture BTCC, now I haven't followed it for a number of years, and I don't follow it religiously. When I did follow little bits and pieces of it, so there is that. But what it does is you have to have it must match to your road car is what BTCC screams to me. So if that's what your current generation of road cars are, I'm all for it because you're giving yourself brand identity. And to be honest with you, JP, this is the secondary point that comes out of the supercars conversation as we're watching the move on board for Sam Chapman trying to go down the outside of Ryan Campbell. He's going to stick with him and harass and harangue the back end of him. The other side of the conversation is, does supercars have an end date on it? If the world's moving to a more electric system, supercars has got a lifespan on it because a V8, well, they're expiring.
Whoa, Chapman, he's closing. Dude, that's like sticking your fingers in the door and hoping not to get it slammed on there, dear sir. Because if you're going to do it, you've got to do it a little bit more convincingly and not half-hearted. You've got to sort of put it in there, you know, put your nose in there.
Something's happened.
So who?
Something's happened to Coleman. Coleman was 5 seconds clear. He's now 2. Coleman's in a fuel hole. Coleman's in a match. I tell you what, he's lost 3/4 of a second a lap, the last 3 laps of Daniel Magri. Coleman's not making the finish of this thing.
Oh. But then
actually, it's longer than that. It's 5.
He pitted on lap 13. And he was the one that
He's
went
dead.
in.
He's dead in the water.
He's one of the ones that went in before the half-an-hour mark. But then Magri only went in a lap later. So they both could be in the same situation here. Exactly.
I would say he's dead in the water.
Yeah, maybe.
He's
I
dead
agree
in the
with
water.
Sean in YouTube chat as well. No one wants to hear an annoying buzzing from a race car. True.
Get used to it now because I don't think you'll have a choice.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. It's annoying.
I think cars are going to sound what the current generation of Formula One cars I think is where racing over the world is sort of going to trend to that sound. We're going to end up with a pretty similar sound.
I hope not. And what's worse, it's probably to put in an electric system in most cars is probably more expensive than it is to run a combustion engine. Weird, isn't it? Nick Wood there with Provençali still behind him at the moment, and Nick Wood doing a stellar job. But I think overall, Scotty, we could be debating this all day, and none of us are going to come out with a conclusion.
I love it.
And we can't even stop it. That's the problem. Whoa, Chapman! No. I don't know if anybody's told you, yes, they have upgraded the grass in iRacing, but you still can't go and try and brake on it, dear sir. It will not go well.
And Nick's tyres have started to expire as well, by the way, so he's no longer punching through and punching clear like he was before. And now Rick Provençali's really filling that rear view mirror. And now Rick Provençali's nearly filling that rear bumper of Nick Wood, because he's right there and he's just about completely and utterly attached to it at the moment. At the moment for Rick Provençali, he'll try and get this car connected up and point it in the right direction as they head up through turn number 3 onto the kink at the crest of the hill on turn 4. Into turn 5 as the left-hander with the sausage curb on the inside.
I'm wondering,
this pack is just getting better and better.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if everybody went in on 13 is close to struggling. Jepson and Long look like they may have just had a little bit of a tat-tat-tat. I don't think it's together. I've got a funny feeling they made individual mistakes there. But I'm wondering whether if everybody that went in on lap 13 is under pressure. So you can see you've got Coleman, you've got Provençali, you've got Campbell, you've got Gretsch, Jepson, Sutherland, Smith, whether or not they're all in a gap, because at the moment Magri's time's down to 1.4.
Yeah, I reckon Coleman's done.
I reckon
we've
anyone
got
on
to listen to
13
the
could be in
That's
trouble.
true.
I reckon anybody on lap 13 could be in trouble.
I'll tell you what, Coleman didn't go to 6th gear at the end of the back straight just then. He didn't go to 6th gear. He left it in 5th and sort of eased out the throttle.
It's what he's going to be able to do, isn't it? That's going to be the question mark with it now. It's that choice, right? You're in that rock hard place. Do you go in, get fuel, and survive until Nick Wood in 4th, right? Which is roughly where he will come out. Or,
Campbell's down the inside, and that's what you've just popped to. Oh, he's going to bang balls with Fozzie, and Fozzie's going to get a huge whack in the left front corner of that car, and now Fozzie's going to lose 2 spots out of it because here comes Sam Chapman. Gets to the inside, gets the job done. Fozzie entered the corner in 6th place, he leaves in 8th.
Oh, Foz there, he's got to try and come back. You know what I mean? And see what he can do there, but it was a little bit of a bump and run. There again, Gretsch is in the pits, so they're coming in, and guess what lap Gretsch pitted on? Lap 13. This is the choice. Try and go to the end, try and fuel save and minimise your time loss, or just to be honest with you, suck it up, go in, get some fuel, and hope that you can last that others are going to try and do the different thing, and that is where we're at. Everybody on 13, I think, is struggling.
The other side of this coin is, remember, we said that Chapman and Provençali both had shorter pit stops, but Provençali come in that lap earlier. So he's definitely not making it, is what I'm thinking now, because Nick Wood has all of a sudden just jumped clear of him. I think Provençali looked at his fuel and went, oh no, bleep, and this is where we've ended up.
Oh, I love a good
bleep.
Yeah. You bleeped.
Yeah.
You should have said, I want to bleep the button for the button that says bleep. As well, Sam Chapman and Rain Campbell still going at each other. I've got a funny feeling out of these people, Chapman's in a better position, so is Foz, because it's possible if Provençali, Campbell are running out, they've got to go in at some point. Coleman's now got to make a choice. Do I go in and suck it up, minimise my time loss down to Wood, or do I keep slowing down?
Still dropping time.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
It's under a second.
Yeah, if I was Nick Wood, if I was Coleman, and I saw I was coming out and not making the end, I would have gone in and got done. Gone in. You would have survived Nick Wood. You've lost so much time that if he goes in, he's not going to survive Nick Wood. He's going to be losing places to that McLaren. It's very hit and miss at the moment.
Is Foz fuel saving? Is the reason that Foz has dropped out and been ejected out the back end of this pack is because he's saving? Who knows, May? It's a lottery. It's a blooming lottery.
Yeah, I've got to agree. It is, and it's who's done what in the first stint. If you've gone out and decided that I'm going to go and fuel save, great. But if you've gone out and you've decided I'm going to fuel save, but you haven't fuel saved enough, you're in trouble. And Provenzali and Wood there as well. Sean Bonici, top 17, all may have to pit. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be close. That could bring Gretsch into it, but it's how far Gretsch can get up here with 7 minutes to go.
Well, the other side of the coin, JP, is think about what happens when you're in a battle pack like this. Think about what happens to your fuel numbers, to everything. And Nick Wood's been pulled back in by Provenzali yet again. So Provenzali's not saving, or Nick Wood has just gone, oh no, I need to save as well. So, you know, there's a few stories left to be told in this one. Coleman's pace has responded. So whether or not he was just short and he saved what he needed to save, and he's got clear of that marker, or he's gone, I'm not going to make it, and now he's turned up the wick. The other side of the coin, you know, remember we were saying we're only a couple seconds shy of getting that extra lap. Imagine if he slowed the pace down enough so we don't get the extra lap anymore. So there's a few different questions going on here as we're inside the final 10 minutes, and indeed we're nearly down to 6 minutes left to go in this race. So there's going to be about 4 laps left to run, potentially that 5th lap, and that 5th lap may kill the pooch as it is. But the other side of the question is, when you're in a battle pack, it's so much more difficult to fuel save. I've seen so many more guys that were good on fuel all of a sudden go, oh bleep, and they're out of fuel.
Oh, bleep.
Sam Chapman pops out alone.
Yeah, he's just cleared Campbell. Chapman's just cleared Campbell. Potts is still behind there as well. Oh, no, Mr. Middleton, what did you do? What did you do? Oh, dear, he's just going to go in too deep, and he into 16. Oh, Jimmy. Jimmy. Yeah, it's just gone in a little bit too deep there as well, and the system's registered that he's at an incident. So I think 5 minutes, 2 minutes, we're going to find out where everybody's at.
I reckon 2 laps. I don't think it's 2 minutes, which that'll leave us at what, 4 minutes?
Yeah.
2 laps. 2 laps, 4 minutes. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think we're going to really be finding out where everybody at. This is just like a game of chess here, isn't it? You know, where are you going to be from? Where are you going to be? What do you do if you do this? What do you do if you do that? What if you do if you don't? Oh, it's all exciting.
Provenzali going to slow down. So now he's going to have to back himself back up to Sam Chapman again. Loses Nick Wood. Still clearing it, by the way. Still clearing it.
Yeah, he's going to have to try. This is the one of the good things with Aragon is you can clear off certain parts by running in a little bit later or braking a little bit earlier to get rid of a slowdown. And let's not lie, right? We've all done it. Come on, we've all gone in and taken a slowdown on the racing line at Monza, and we've taken Lesmo 1 and 2 on the inside just a little bit slower than we probably should do. You know, we've all tried to do it, minimise time loss, and I think Provenzali's done a great job at doing that. The interesting thing is this man, and how far is this man going to get due to pitting again on lap 23, and he's the only man to have done so far.
We're just stuck on tenor hooks is the problem. We're sat here on pins and needles, just waiting, because that's all we can do. All we can do is wait. And Magri has caught all the way back up to the rear bumper. Coleman's turned up the wick. So the fuel saving is now done for the driver with the number 1 attached to his name. Fuel saving job done. And he is now pressing on. I think Dutch might be in a little bit of a fuel hole at the moment because he's started backing off a little bit. So he'll just look to hang on to P3. He can't really push himself further up. So may as well lock that one down. And then you've got the battle pack that's on the screen at the moment, which has been worth the watch.
Absolutely. It's where Gretsch... Oh, steady, Hanlon, steady. You can't squeeze in that much there, buddy. He's not an orange in your juicer. You can't just push on him and hopefully he'll go away, because he can't disappear, Canadian Gretsch. And he doesn't disappear either. He still goes up the inside coming into 16. Gretsch should get the exit, but it's going to allow Hanlon there as well to get a better one. Hanlon's going to have the inside for turn 18. Gretsch is still going to have the inside again as they come round to that final corner, and then he does manage to make it through there as well. And at least...
Somebody else is in. Simon Smith is in.
Smith's in. On the upside, with Gretsch going in on 23, at least he knows he's going to have enough fuel.
Yeah, so he's one we can put a line through and say that's a car that's definitely making. I see what you've done. It took me a moment, but Adrian Gretsch will make finish line this week.
Yeah, he should do.
Well, we hope.
I'm sure he will.
Surely not.
So
Well, they're not on the last lap yet here, so there'll be 2 to go from here.
Yeah, I think Coleman. It's going to be close, mind you. What's he doing at the moment? 2:06. No, this could be the final lap of the race. He may have backed off enough here to make this. No, we've only got 2 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes on the clock.
There will be one more.
Yeah, there will be one more.
Oh, he's in! He's in!
Told you. Who else? Who else on 13? Who's the next one? It's going to be Provenzale.
Oh, Leith McClimate's race is over, by the way. As is Alfonso Latella.
Has Provenzale done enough to survive the final lap, or is he in? Is this where we see a rush of 13s who went in on lap 13? But no, he's in. He's in as well. Give me a crystal ball and I'll give you next week's numbers. But Rain Campbell is the only man who's probably saved enough at the moment. What about Jepson? Is he going to be going in as well? Nope, he's managed to save enough possibly for one more lap. Hugo Sutherland is the next on the 13s list as well, but Provenzale didn't save enough. Coleman did come out, but he just about managed to stay in front of Wood, who is obviously, as we know, on fresh tyres as well. So that basically summed up the race, and unfortunately for Magri, or for Coleman, when we said about going in earlier, he didn't. He's now gone and he's in 4th there. But we did also say they all pitted a little bit early.
Yeah, and they're going to be punished for it as well. For Owen Coleman, he had 2 hands on this thing. All he had to do was save a mouthful of fuel, and he would have been fine on that first run. That's all he had to do. And he's gotten that extra lap, and unfortunately, it's put pay to the strategy for Owen Coleman. And he will be frustrated with this. And can Nick Wood put another sting in the tail and knock Coleman off the podium? He's not quite close enough at the moment, but that was a really good braking effort there. He will have fresher rubber than Coleman, and he is closing. He's crawling all over the rear bumper of Coleman now as the guys run down to the final complex of corners. It's going to be Magri at the moment. Should he not run out of fuel? He's only got a cough, splutter, and croak across the line. And it wasn't good enough drive that time by for Nick Wood as he comes off of that corner. He's a fair way back, but the McLaren's got some legs. Daniel Magri rounds turn number 16, round 17, rounds 18 to the left up here, flashes the lights, saved enough fuel, and gets home on the smell of an oily rag. Andrew Dutch will follow him home and will also make the required distance to get home on that fuel run. And then comes this battle for 3rd place because he got close to Nick Wood, but Owen Coleman led all but the most important lap. He led every other lap today, and he doesn't lead the last.
Yeah, and the most important one. Didn't lead the most important one. That's the thing. Provenzale also did not stay on where he was. He shot all the way down into 9th. Rain Campbell comes over the line. He's out of fuel. Out of fuel for Rain.
Didn't save enough either.
No, he just makes it over the line, mind you, as the line is quite early on. And then Provenzale, unfortunately, will clear Rain Campbell, but he will not take the position away. Adrian, please tell me on lap 23, you put so much fuel in, you're going to have enough to do another 5 laps.
Well, I think his crew chief's now going to turn around and point at Adrian Gretsch and go, hey, it's not me, it's you. You burn too much fuel.
Yeah, he did. He did a great job. He's managed to get to the end, so fair play to him. You know what I mean? Let's be proud he's got it over the line. So, well done. I do love Sean Benici. Gretsch could risk to roasting if he ran out of fuel again. Or Gretsch couldn't risk a roasting if he ran out of fuel again. Well, this is true. Surely we're not like that, though, Scotty, are we? We wouldn't have roasted a driver for running out of fuel 3 races in a row.
I'm not roasting him. I'm giving him his 15 minutes of fame. He earned them. There's an alternative viewpoint as Jimmy Middleton's going to cross the start-finish line.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, if Nick Wood hadn't taken tyres, that would have been a confirmed podium for him too.
Yep. 8
That's
seconds.
the difference between it as well.
Yeah. He would have got... Oh, hold on a minute. Can I do... What's the gap back to Wood? 23. Take off the 8. That would have been past Coleman. Oh, it might have been really close if he'd managed to hit Dutchy, though. That's the problem.
No, he wouldn't have got to Dutchy. He wouldn't have got to Dutchy. But he would have definitely been on the podium.
Yeah, we're just going to wait for Matt Bakir, who's just coming around the final couple of corners there as well. So what does Matt do as he comes over the line? Jobs are good
May as well cross this
as
up.
well.
May as well come through the pit lane.
They could have done.
Poor Ray Campbell.
There you go. I hope Rain hasn't got to get back to the pits on his own, because that ain't happening.
I'll tell you what, that one was not easy, and the boys are going to start trickling in to have a little bit of a chat with us. And the first one, it's not the GT4 broadcast room. It's going to be the GT4 fuel roasting room, because Owen Coleman put the speed down, put the pace down, had pace to burn, and burned too much of the good old go-go juice, Owen.
Yeah. Oh, well. It happens.
Mate, in terms of things, you put that car out at the front of the field. It was nice and quick early on, and then, unfortunately, when did you realise you were short?
Oh, probably a good 10, 15 minutes before I pitted. I knew I wasn't going to make it. I was down by 2 minutes or so. Oh well. Honestly, I'm wrapped with a third, to be honest. Dutchy and Jimmy and all of them will say I didn't think I was going to be in the top in the podium this round, to be honest. I wasn't very confident around here.
Mate, in terms of things, was it the weather this week? Was it the air temperature? Was it the humidity that had you most worried?
I just hadn't raced this track much before practice. I just wasn't quite gelling with it. Dutchy had my measure all through practice, so I reckon if he had qualified in front of me, I reckon he would have got that.
It's such is the difference. I mean, yeah, it was interesting to keep half an eye on, and then as the fuel so happens, good track. I mean, like you said, you struggled with it sort of all week, but it's got a lot of everything around here, Aragon. But one of the most difficult things is actually spotting your markers around it. There's very little to tell your way around the track and where to brake, when to pull the car up, etc.
Yeah, 100%. I was probably been a bit more cautious for the most part, but yeah, I just didn't quite manage to fuel enough. But it is what it is.
Mate, in terms of things, anyone you want to thank on behalf of the Fart Boys, or will you leave that to the man that's one step further forward?
Yeah, I'll mostly leave it to Dutchy. But cheers to you guys and pretty much everyone at Premier Endurance League, and Game Gear Direct, obviously, and all the other sponsors that make this possible.
Thank you very much for your time, mate, and thanks for having a chat with us. And next time, get your fuel calculator out a little bit earlier, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Have a good night, guys.
Well, we're going to step one further step up the podium. JP, I believe you got Dutchy sitting on standby.
Yeah, Mr. Andrew Dutch takes in the second place there as well, buddy. Good evening to you, dear sir. How are you?
How are we going, boys? I'm doing well.
I'm doing very well, mate. Doing very well. I did have a slight worry about you at the beginning, Andrew, due to the fact that there was a lot of blinking coming out of your car. So I don't know if you was aware of that or if anybody had summed that up to you.
Apparently, I did have a bit of blinking at the start. I looked at my FPS and everything like that little gauge, and there was nothing in the orange or red, so I'm not too sure what was happening. The missus was probably on Netflix, to be honest.
Even though she's been microwaving something, one of the two there, bud. Going forward for you, though, great race overall. Managed to take the second place as well. How close was you on fuel coming over the line?
I think I had about 1.4 litres left, I think. After the pit stop, I just sat behind Dan and just fuel safe for that reason, but I made that silly mistake. I just caught the grass just before the back straight, and I was just annoyed with myself, so kind of got the push on, and then about 7 minutes before the end of the race, I was like, I might need to ease up a bit and just settle for a third. And then I found out that Owen can't count past 4, so yeah.
Well, I'm sure he can, dear sir. I'm sure he might be able to. Hopefully he should be able to do that as well. Going forward for you, though, in the championship, where do you see yourself this season? Because you're sitting in third at the moment. We know you've just obviously taken points away from Mr. Coleman there as well. How tough is it going to be with you, Dan, up the front end there?
Oh, look, mate, to be honest, I'm pretty confident in the GT4. It's a GT3 I'll struggle with, mate, on a nightly basis. So, look, I'm pretty confident that I can stay up around the podium positions for the series. So, yeah, I think the next round of this, I'm actually going to be using it as my drop round. I've got another surgery coming up on my elbow, so I'll be out for the next round.
Okay, mate. Well done for today, buddy. Congratulations on your second place. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, obviously, Rick and Jimmy, more Rick. We know he pulls the right weight with this series, so thanks to him, and a slight thank you to Jimmy. Thanks to Owen for running out of fuel, and yeah, thanks to all the sponsors.
So many
Mate,
little
I would have
side
done life.
So many
I would have dug
side
a little bit
digs.
deeper.
I know.
Deeper with Owen and just said, "Thanks for running out of fuel and talent, mate." So
No, we know the bloke's got talent, mate. Yeah, like I said, he's only got 3 fingers, so 4's the best he can.
Oh, dearie me. Andrew, much appreciated, mate. Take care, buddy, and have a good one.
Thanks, boys. Have a good night.
And you.
oh, I'm done. The bloke's
Oh,
only got
dearie
3
me.
fingers.
Well, you don't know, he might have. It's a bit rude. He might have only 3. Who knows? He's clearly forgotten he could take his shoes and socks off and get an extra 10 down there, but never mind. Oh, no,
Those aren't fingers, Jimmy. Those aren't fingers.
Yeah, but you still use them to count, can't he? He'll be all right. He'll be all right. Anyway, let's have a chat with the winner while Scotty's out in the back, absolutely wetting himself. Dan, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you.
Good. That's good to hear, though. Dude, you went on to take a win there as well. An expected win, or did you sit back and think, yeah, he's going to be very close, but I should be able to get him?
Yeah, when I saw Owen pit a lap early in the first stint, I thought there was no way he could finish the race, but then he did me on strategy the first race, so I thought surely he knows what he's doing, and I held up behind him and hoped with 1 lap to go he'd pit in, and that was the first time I realised I was actually going to win this thing.
Yeah, it definitely was there as well. Was it a bit of a nervous last lap?
Oh no, I really took my foot off the gas on that one when you got a good 8 seconds behind. Fortunately for Dutch's error, made things a lot easier. But yeah, I was comfortably fine on fuel.
No, well, that's always a good thing as well. How did you find Aragon in general? Is this a circuit that you think, yeah, I really like this, or is this a circuit you think, meh?
I won the race, of course, I love it.
Well, you love it now, but were you loving it when you first saw it on the calendar? Come on, Dan, help me out a little bit.
Oh, no. When I first saw it on the calendar, it definitely, well, what's this track? Never seen it before, and even after doing a few laps of it, yeah, wasn't quite sure on it, but found pace and can't complain about that, and here I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Here you are, the winner there as well. Going forward, though, Dan, where do you see yourself in the championship? It's going to be tough with the 3 of you, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like the pace today suggests it's the 3 of us, and I actually might be missing the next one if it's scheduled on Easter long weekend. So yeah, Owen just seems to have the pace. It's as long as he continues that pace and finishes on fuel for the next few races, I'll give it a very hard crack, but I think it's still Owen's to lose.
Yeah, 31st of March, the next one is there, buddy, as well, just to let you know.
Yeah, I'm away.
Right, okay, well, we won't see you in the next one. That'll be your drop round. Going forward, though, bud, anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I did my research this time, so we got Bliss Holmes, Cardiff X, and Print Racer, and of course, you guys at Premier Endurance League for putting the show on.
Well, not me and Scotty, obviously, so never mind. Thanks. Know what I mean?
Jeez, we're rocking for months.
Yeah, I know. We clearly loved it, haven't we? Thanks, Dan. No, have a good one, mate. Have a good weekend away next time, and we'll catch you after that.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Oh, no love for us in the booth, Scotty. That was a rude fact. Everybody else, it weren't even us. Fuck. That's it. No more. But there you go, buddy. Yeah, do you want to run through the final results here?
Yeah, let's shoot through them nice and quickly as it stands on the tower. It's going to be Dan Magru who stands atop the pile tonight in a race he wasn't sure that he was going to win before it comes home with Andrew Dutch and Owen Coleman, the second of the Fart cars, home for the first time. And he said earlier on in the week he thought Dutchy might have him for pace. Well, he didn't have him for pace here tonight, but he did have him for fuel saving. Nick Wood is the unlucky recipient of P4. Said after the race, forgot to turn his tyres off, and that is the difference between him sitting fourth and third. Sam Chapman had a phenomenal race in terms of his fuel-saving capabilities. Fozzie qualified well, fell through the field a little bit. Jepson had an eye-opener from lights out to whoa, and will drop one spot he'll drop 2 spots with the post-race 10-second penalty. Rain Campbell will shift up one, as will Ricky Provenzali. Jacob Hughes will be inside the top 10 after a wild and woolly night. Actually, he'll drop a spot as well with a 10-second post-race penalty. Adrian Gretsch will finish inside the 10. Hugo Sutherland, Martin Hallinan, Simon Smith, Jimmy Middleton, Ronald Long, Stefan Mellis, Matt Beckier, and the last 2 home, Alfonso Latella was 13 laps down, Leith McClellan was 15 laps down, so won't be scoring points here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that is about all we have here on behalf of the Premier Endurance Racing League. I want to say a big shout out to the sponsors, Player One Sim Gear. Can't say enough about I got that one. No, I didn't. It was Gaming Gear Direct Sim Racing gear here tonight for the guys that gets you everything to do with your sim racing equipment, be it a golf sim, be it a flight sim, be it a racing sim. It's Gaming Gear Direct. We'll get you started in terms of sim racing gear. Chat to Blake and the team today to get yourself up there as well. Can't say enough of a big shout out. Yeah, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble.
I
said the wrong name, man.
Jimmy's sucking up at you. I love you, JP, but I haven't watched the broadcast yet, so I want the option to change my opinion. Thanks, Jimmy. Nice,
I've been sick all week, mate. So the fact that I'm even here and talking is actually a win.
Don't make excuses. Put on your big boy pants and suck it up. You know what I mean? I've got another 5 broadcasts to do after this today. So if I can manage one and go for the whole day, you can just pull up your big boy pants and stop your whining.
Well, I'm at the end of 3, so I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. I've got another 5 more to go, but yeah, all good.
I'm good. I'm handing off to you. You're finishing this one out, brother.
Thanks, mate. There we go. On that one, thanks so much for joining us. I've been James Parfit up here in the booth. I've been alongside Scott. I need big boy pants ranking. And for now, guys, as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.